Many educators strongly feel that there is no substitute for the hands-on learning experience of dissection. Susan Offner, a former biology teacher, stressed that the learning that occurs in dissection is far better than learning that occurs in a lecture or paper and pencil setting. No model, no video, no diagram and no movie can duplicate the fascination and the sense of discovery and wonder that students feel when they find real structures in their own specimens. Dissection is also important because it helps students to learn about the internal structures of animals. It helps them to learn how the tissue and organs are interrelated. And it gives students an appreciation of the complexity of organisms in a hands-on learning environment. It also provides one of the most memorable and instructive units in a school biology course. Dissection confirms thousands of details that we teach every day. Learners can learn how to plan out investigations as well as to solve problems that require some practical ability. This is all strengthened by the attitude of curiosity and interest in wanting to find out more about nature and the way living things work. Dissecting the heart will enforce the acquiring of knowledge about the blood circulation system, which include vessels and arteries, and the flow of blood to and from the heart. The students will be able to better understand diagrams or schematic drawings of the heart in textbooks. Everything that students learn will become real to them and help them to understand that things are real and not only drawings on paper. The coronary artery of a mammal, the lifeline of the heart, is a small, thin artery. And once the students have seen this, they are more aware and appreciative of why it is easy for arteries to become clogged up with fatty acids and why it is so important to look after one's health and bodies. The wall of the left ventricle of the heart is thicker than the wall of the right ventricle, since the left ventricle has to pump blood to the entire body rather than just to the lungs. The supra vena cava is a vein that brings all of the blood from your upper body to your heart, and there is also an inferior vena cava, which is often chopped off, but that brings blood from the lower half of your body. The aorta is an artery that takes blood from your heart and pumps it through back towards your body. You can see these are thick as they are dealing with a lot of force, and you can see where they lead. Students can even put their fingers through the arteries and veins and trace the path that blood takes from the body to the lungs and back from the lungs and to the body. The students will be able to identify the difference between the major arteries and veins that carry the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood. And with the dissection, they will be able to allocate the 4 chambers of the heart and also identify the different valves that are present between each atrium and ventricle, and which prevent the backflow into the atria. There are many more things to look for and learn about inside of the heart. Some of the things students must try to also find include the tricuspid and the bicuspid valve, and are easily visible and divide the atriums from the ventricles. They must also try to find the cordia tendineae, the heartstrings which pull on valves to open and close them. And they can try this with a pair of tweezers. The papillary muscles, just like in our limbs, tendons need muscles to pull them, and those are densely packed papillary muscles. These are fascinating, as unlike our other muscles, they are not attached to the skeletal structure. A heart dissection is a fascinating experience that is at the core of our circulatory system and our body as a whole. I think dissecting the heart is the best way to teach learners the value of our circulatory system and the value of the very important organ in our body, the heart.